Hey guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. In today's video we're having a look at the games on the Taito X System Hardware. So there are 5 games in total. Well, actually there's 4 because there's one game on there twice, and I think one of them would be like the Japanese version, and then the other version would be the same game called by a different name outside of Japan. So we're going to go through the games in alphabetical order. So I'm going to show 4 games because hey, the game that has different titles in different regions, we'll just kind of count that as one. So 4 games, let's go with 4. So the first game you're seeing over here is Bloon Brothers. Sorry, I was going to say Bloon Busters for some reason, but Bloon Brothers. So this is like a Tetrisy kind of game with some kind of color stuff come into it. Now, this is the first time I actually tried this game. I do like puzzle games, but Tetris is always the granddaddy of puzzle games for me. That's the one that I mainly play. So this is a little bit different to Tetris. The blocks go from the bottom of the screen all the way to the top, and a lot of the stuff is color dependent as well. I kind of started figuring out how to actually play this game while I was playing it. It's not bad, but you know what, it has no nostalgia for me. The main reason that I'm covering this hardware is because of one game, and we'll get to that game. It'll be the last one out of the 4 that we show here. Currently, the only way to play and enjoy these games is the best way if you've got the original hardware and you've maintained it and you've got access to the PCBs or the arcade machines. You can play it on that. Failing that, you can play them via emulation. I'm using MAME to play these currently, but I'm pretty sure they're available via, like, say, RetroArch if you're using something like the Final Burn Neo ROM set. So if you do want to check it out, that's how you can play it. We don't currently have an FPGA implementation. Would absolutely love to see the Taito X System Hardware come over to FPGA for the Analogue Pocket, mainly because of that one game that we're going to have a look at last in this video. But this is Bloon Brothers, guys. Again, I'm interested if you play this in the arcade. I never saw this in the arcade. Like I said, the first time I kind of at least noticed this game is when I was looking at this hardware and I was doing this video. Okay, so this is the game. This is the second game we are having a look at. The version that we are looking at here is called Daisenpu. Hopefully I've said that correctly, and it's also known as Twin Hawk. So I'm only going to show Daisenpu. It's pretty much the same game. I think the title screen is different, and some of the language that's in Japanese in one is English on the other. Now, this is a vertical shmup. As good as any other vertical shmup out there. Now, it's not the worst one I've played, but it's certainly not the best one I've played. But there is nothing wrong with this game. It's fun. I particularly like your special weapon in this. So when you press like your special weapon, in a lot of games you'll have like a bomb or something similar to that. Well, in this case you get a whole like fleet of different airplanes come out and attack. And when you press your button again, they kind of go away. So that's an interesting twist on how to use your special weapon. As you can see, I'm just doing really badly in this game, but it is a fun vertical shmup. I don't know if I played this in the arcade. I may have seen this in the arcade, but maybe I didn't pay much attention to it because do you remember going to the arcade, and sometimes in the arcade there was like 50 different arcade machines in there, and you always kind of stuck to your favorite 2 or 3 games, and that's what you kind of dedicated your time and your money to play the game, you know, because funds were kind of limited, so we couldn't play everything. It definitely looks kind of familiar, but it does look like some other shmups out there. But here you go. I really do like that special. I mean, look at that fleet just coming out and firing at everything. It's definitely worth trying out. Try it out. It is fun. Next up, guys, we are looking at a game called Gigandes. Is that how you say it? And guys, this is as weird or pretty weird, or as weird as they may come. So it's a horizontal shmup. We looked at a vertical shmup. Well, now it's the horizontal one, and if I have to say, did I prefer the vertical one or the horizontal one, I would have to say I preferred the vertical one. This game is just weird. It's not something that I think I would play now. It's quite difficult, and the firing, and I don't know, honestly, the best way I can describe this is just weird. You can change the angle or the direction of like your shots. Maybe I'm just not skilled enough to play it. Maybe if I play this in the arcade and I kind of got used to it, playing it for the first time now, yeah, it was kind of tricky to kind of get my head around at least. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It doesn't feel like a terrible game. It just feels like a game that's not very beginner friendly. You know, there's a lot of shmups out there, some that you just pick up and you're into straight away. This one definitely feels more difficult, but it is good to have that variety. As you can see, I just got destroyed there. But let's move over to my favorite game, the last one. Okay guys, so remember I said my favorite game on this hardware I will save for last, and this is it guys, Superman. Everything about this game, it's just brilliant. Absolutely love it. It's like a kind of scroller, and it goes between, I guess, somewhat of a shmup and a side scroller, kind of beat 'em up, kind of hybrid game. And honestly, this was amazing in the arcade. At the time this came out, everybody was playing it. It was magnificent. Honestly, seeing how you see this game now doesn't do it justice. Seeing the arcade machine, seeing the environment it was in, what it looked like on that CRT, and the way people gathered around this machine, honestly, it was amazing. And you know what? I was always more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan, but man, I did like the Superman movies growing up. And when this game came out, we played this in a multitude of places. There was a place in Camden Town, maybe about 3 miles from where I used to live at the time, that had it, and there was a place a bit more local to me as well that had it, so we used to play this quite a bit out there. So I like how this game looks. I've actually got a video on my channel where I go through the entire game with a friend of mine while we're kind of talking and chilling, because hey, I do like this game. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. So to talk a little bit about the Taito X System hardware, the main CPU is a 68000 at 8 megahertz. The sound CPU is a Z80 at 4 megahertz. The sound chip is either the Yamaha 2610 or a Yamaha 2151 plus the Yamaha 3012, depending on the game. Now the video resolution is 384 by 240, apart from 384 by 224 for Dezempu, or also known as Twin Hawk. Guys, honestly, this is the best game on this hardware, and this is why I so badly would like to see an FPGA implementation of this. But here you go. I can't remember what that first boss is called. Kind of reminds me of like a Marvel bad guy called Abomination, but hey, we know it's not because this is DC. But as well as having like your kind of beat 'em up bits, there's a different part of the game, and I think it might just be coming up because based on how Superman flew away. But we get these kind of, okay, so this is the bit where you're kind of flying up. So it's a weird, it's kind of weird. I mean, it lives well with that Superman kind of thing. So in regards to the plot of the Superman game, or a little bit of information about it. So Superman was released in 1989. It was an action game, or at least that's how it was classified. If you're unaware, which I'm sure all of you guys watching this know who Superman is, he is probably DC's flagship superhero. It's always an argument between Superman and Batman. Personally, I prefer Batman over Superman. But yeah, Superman is very well known. And just going back to the arcade, this is kind of where we got to on the first credit. I remember kind of getting to this part, and we sometimes beat this boss and got a little bit further down. This part here is where it really does kind of like become a shmup. So your normal fire, or you've only got one kind of fire, and you can still do like your charging attack. Sorry, I didn't speak about the charging attack. So if you hold down, I think it was your punch button, you'll go and you'll do this move, and it's actually quite powerful, and it will cut through some enemies. But you can still do that while you're flying around. And honestly, as far as like horizontal shmups go, this was quite janky. But being a kid at the time and flying Superman while destroying steel girders, helicopters and missiles and other things was, well, nothing short of amazing. Also, 2 players in this. I always thought 2-player was Shazam, or at least later on when I saw like Shazam and the similarities to Superman and being from the DC universe. But apparently it's just a red version of Superman. Hey, go figure. And in this game, I think you're saving the world from the evil Emperor Zars, a character that apparently was exclusive to this game. But honestly, this game's a lot of fun in the jankiest way, but maybe I have a little bit of bias toward this because hey, I played this in the arcade when I was young, guys. So I definitely have a bias towards it. Maybe if I played it for the first time now, I wouldn't have the love for it that I do. But that's really it for this video, guys. We had a look at Taito X System. Like I said, I really do hope we get an FPGA implementation of it. If not, well, enjoy it on the original hardware or enjoy it via emulation. The choice is yours, but definitely check them out and let me know what you guys actually think of the Superman game. But that's it for this video, guys. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.